from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster that's here to put you to sleep, to keep you company, to be your friend in the deep dark of night, to tell you a tale that you don't have to listen to tell you a tale you don't have to pay attention to, but to tell you a bedtime story eventually. First, I'll talk like a friend. I'll come over. There's that, I'm going to have to look it up. I'm always slow to say these words, but there's this popular thing called a chatterbox, right? And probably has some like connotation, but what's a chat? Like people call people chatterboxes. I've never been called a chatterbox before, but I think I've made, because it's not like chat. This is like, it's like chit, there's chit chat, right? And then there's chatter. I don't know what the difference is. I guess chit chat is like ping pong. You're chit chatting. I never thought about that either. For ping pong, chit chat, very similar. Maybe. I mean, I think so, because chattering is just the chat, like it doesn't have the chit. I think the chit would be the, like it's like maybe it's based in, back when they had class systems, like official ones, formal class systems, like I'm the chit, and you're the chat, right? Maybe not, though. Because why wouldn't it be I guess a chit box is different because, well, it sounds like something else, but because chit has more than one meaning. Chat does, too, right? I mean, chat cafe. Okay, anyway, believe it or not, I'm supposed to be kicking off a sleep podcast here. So if you're confused, welcome. My brain is, I'm trying to figure out. But anyway, this is Sleep With Me. Yes, it is a sleep podcast. And yeah, eventually it'll put you to sleep. I'm here to be your friend in the deep dark night, just chattering in your ear in a friendly way so that you could barely pay attention to me. I could take your mind off whatever's keeping you awake so you could fall asleep. So I'm really glad you're here. Welcome. It does take a couple tries to get used to the show. So if you're already like, what is this guy? I mean, you're right, though. I mean, you have to agree with me that a ping pong is when you hit the ball, you hit it back. And chit-chat seems to be a two-way conversation, but a short conversation, a conversation about, the basics, not too much depth to it, but it has to be a back and forth. So that would lead me to bring, a chatterbox. Maybe it's like a box that back in the days of silent movies, there seemed to be a lot more gags back then. Like maybe somebody gave people boxes that were chattering. I don't know, like there used to be, holy cow, I'm sorry, start a sleep podcast still, but once upon a time, one of the most funniest things, this was before my time, but I saw it and stuff, was a pair of wind-up teeth. It was a whole mouth, well, it wasn't a whole mouth, but it wasn't just the teeth either, you know what I'm saying? And you'd wind it up and it would chatter. So I wonder if a chatterbox is just that. It's probably not, but you say, oh boy, am I going to, I think that was like Dennis the Menace. Maybe, I don't know if Dennis the Menace ever did this, but I could see it happening. Where say, who invented the chatterbox? Oh, Dennis the Menace did. At least in this imaginary context, he took his pair of wind-up teeth and, isn't it who's it? Not, is it Wilson? Mr. Wilson? I don't know. He wound up the teeth, put them in a box, and then put them outside Mr. Wilson's door, knocked on the door. And they said, what is this chattering in this chatterbox? It starts, and then maybe Dennis would sneak in the house every time they were trying to have a calm thing. He'd wind up the teeth again. And I guess it would be better if Dennis put like, do not open until whatever, 8 months from that date. So they would be like, they didn't realize it had a false bottom. I don't know, pretty long way to explain an episode of imaginary talk about irrelevant. I mean, my reference is not any, not you, Dennis the Menace. So many people, I mean, a lot, not enough, I'd say some percentage of our audience knows who Dennis the Menace is. There are some remakes. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. A little bit like Kevin McAllister, but even that's, I mean, Kevin McAllister's, That was, but it's still the Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so anyway, I'm glad you're here. Stay tuned because there'll be more going off topic and stuff. But yeah, this is a podcast to be a friend in the deep dark night, to take your mind off of stuff and keep you company. So give it a few tries, see how it goes. What we got coming up, support. So paying for the show's optional. Long meandering intro after that meant to ease you into bedtime. And then a bedtime story from the world of Get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky, PI, to ease you off into dreamland. So thanks for stopping by. And we do this together. Like we make the show, or I'm able to be here for you because of all the people that support it. So we do it together. So the best way to support the show is to support it directly on Sleep With Me Plus. Support it wherever you're consuming it. Some platforms have stuff. Support our sponsors or spread the word about the show. And you'll hear me talking about that coming up right here because that's how we get to be here for you. Thanks. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Marley Spoon. And, I'm always looking to have a better meal routine, right? But I'm really busy planning good, healthy meals that taste delicious. Sometimes it feels impossible, but that's why I'm glad we're partnering with Marley Spoon. Sleep With Me is sponsored by Marley Spoon. And I'm really excited about this because it's helping me fast track my way to eating well without all the stress. And with my code SLEEP, you can get up to 27 free meals. And for those nights when you need dinner like yesterday, Marley Spoon's new 15-minute express recipes are exactly what they sound like. Convenient, delicious, and on the table in minutes. You'll find these on every weekly menu. And if you've got a few extra minutes, they even have some great 20-minute options too. Same with their tray bakes that even include the tray. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight is this beef and wine ravioli lasagna. I was just looking over the instructions. Last night we had this Turkish style flatbread and it was delicious with roasted pepper and walnuts and seasonings. Oh boy. And if you're really in a hurry, Marley Spoon also has delicious ready to heat meals. These are lifesavers when I really don't feel like cooking. And I love how Marley Spoon makes everything easy, straightforward, but it tastes fresh and delicious. There's literally something for every mood. This year, fast track your way to eating well with Marley Spoon. Head to marleyspoon.com/offer/sleep and use code SLEEP for up to 27 free meals. That's right, up to 27 free meals with Marley Spoon. One last time, that's marleyspoon.com/offer/sleep for up to 27 free meals. And make sure you use my promo code SLEEP so they know I sent you. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations. All right, but we're trying this new thing called No Stone Unturned, where I'm going through these testimonials from real listeners who benefit from the show and looking at, hey, I know I benefit from the show. I know it makes my life better, but there was this one thing standing in my way of supporting it directly. So if this is the thing standing in your way, listen up. If you can afford to support the show, it makes your life better. If you rely on the show relies on you. All right, this is from Laura. You said, I decided to support the show because I was using it enough to sleep and it was valuable to me, just like any other thing that would help me get to sleep. I tend to think if something is valuable and useful enough to me, I should support it so it doesn't go away. As a content creator myself, I know most people consume my content for free. I also know without the support of quite a few people, I wouldn't be able to continue to do so. So I get it, and I hope other people do. The biggest obstacle to me for supporting the show was that I only have so much money to spend, and there are many things I'd like to support. However, as you point out, sleep is crucial to our health, our happiness, and without it, it's going to be tough. So I prioritize to Sleep With Me for support. And I empathize with you as a content creator who wants to try to do something useful for the world. So it made me feel like it was the right thing to do by supporting the show because it's something that benefits my life quite a bit. So if you identify with what Lori says, you get a lot out of the podcast. You just want ad-free content. You want you want more stuff. And you want the podcast to be here for you to keep making your life better. And then as a result, you get to help out a lot of other people that can't support the show. But it really comes down to that. That's the only question. Like, are you listening to me? Are you hearing me? Does Sleep With Me make your life better? Do you count on it? Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks so much. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get Sleep With Me merch, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. And use Sleep With Me at checkout to get $5 off your order. The only way you can get the Sleep With Me merch editions is sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble, getting to sleep, trouble, staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts on your mind, like thoughts you're thinking about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts, feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally, like maybe they're related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there, feelings that are just, making their appearance, like feelings about Dennis the Menace or chattering or chit-chattering or chit-chat or ping-pong. I mean, I'm sure there's a large portion of people that play ping-pong or have played ping-pong that have feelings about it. I mean, I guess in particular, I'm not good at it, so I can only beat people that are not obviously that I can beat. So it's weird. I guess I play right-handed, even though I'm left-handed, or maybe I play left-handed. Not good with either hand. Ping pong, not good with either hand. Another thing that qualifies me to make a sleep podcast, I guess. So thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be traveling. You could be a guest. You could have guests. You could be working a different shift. You could be going through something, getting over something, in the middle of something, whatever it is. The only reason I bring that stuff up is kind of like at the beginning of the show. The key of this show is you kind of feel seen and welcomed, but in a comfortable way, in a non-intrusive way, right? I want you to feel seen, like whatever it is that's keeping you awake, even if I don't understand it or I haven't been through it, that I understand that it's not easy, that you're going through something. And that, believe it or not, this is a hard hill to get over for a lot of people, but that there's someone else in the world listening right now at this moment who can really relate to what you're going through. And maybe they've been listening to podcasts for 6 months. Maybe they've been listening to it for 11 years, but they're rooting for you because they say, I found the show. I couldn't believe what this nonsense this guy was talking about. And then I found myself falling asleep in the middle of him talking about nothing. And then I started listening to the show on a regular basis. It changed my relationship with sleep, and I didn't think it ever would. I had no idea to look for something like this. And I'm so grateful for it. So I'm so happy you found it too. But it doesn't work for everybody. So that's what I mean. They're rooting for you, but it also means no pressure for you to like this show. They just hope it helps you the way it helped them. But you could see how it goes. So the way it works, one more thing that's important is you deserve a good night's sleep. But you deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need so your life is more manageable tomorrow. So that you could live your life tomorrow. And ideally that you could get the sleep you need on a regular basis so you could be out there flourishing. Our world needs you in it. And the world's going to be a better place if you're there. You don't even have to be at your best. I don't be at your best. That's too much pressure for me. But if you be at your okayest, or just okay, if you're just okay, right? Because you had a good night's sleep, or a good night's sleep a few nights in a row, because you don't dread bedtime anymore. I mean, ideally, I help change your life a little bit, but in an indirect way. I'm not here to change your life right up front, and with song and dance or whatever. But to kind of just make your life suck less. That's really what I'm here to do, to ease some suffering in the deep, dark night. So the way I do it is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So I go off topic. I get mixed up. I start talking. I don't even know what I was talking about earlier. Honestly, it'll take me like 10 or 15 minutes to think about it. I still don't know. I don't know what I was talking about earlier, but that's okay, right? I'll go off topic. I'll get mixed up. Then I'll double back. I'll repeat myself, and I'll go on and on and on, because I'm not here to tell you a straightforward story, and I'm not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff, to be a pleasant companion in the deep, dark night. And that's not for everybody. That's one thing. If you don't like the show, give it a few tries and see how it goes. That's just most regular listeners have said. Yeah, it took a few tries for me to get used to the podcast. The first time I listened, I didn't have, it was not what I expected. I expected something much more serious and relaxing, seriously relaxing. And I said, that's exactly why I made the show, that whole term, seriously relaxing. The amount of time somebody said, seriously relax, I said, how is that even possible? Seriously, try to be in your body right now and stay calm. And he said, but you said seriously, I can't, I don't, okay, seriously, just pause. No, you don't. I guess you don't understand how I work, because when you say seriously, you stay calm. They don't get it. That's the thing. That person or all those people have said to me, seriously, try to, every time they try to check the old BP, I just tell them not bother anymore. I say, well, isn't there some sort of stealth way you could do that while I'm not paying attention? Because it's just not going to work. Or Dan, you've heard me. It's been a while since I mentioned my hips before. But anytime I've had to do any type of body instruction in person, and then they say, it could be yoga, Pilates, dance, I don't know what else, but they say, try to move. Can you bend at your head? Can you bend at your waist? Can you move? Can you not move? Or can you move with your hips? I don't try to relax your shoulders. Totally relaxed. Try to relax. Seriously, try to move your hips. I say that way. So I don't know if that may be a qualifier for, if understanding that's not the only qualifier for this show, but if you relate to anything I just said, you're in good company. Seriously, relax. I mean, how many? I can't believe I don't talk about that all the time. This show is just not serious, and if I say seriously relax, it's by accident, because it's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. They said, "What are you laughing at?" You just told me to relax. You said, seriously, calm down. And they say, right, because I'm serious about it. You got to calm down. I got to, take your pulse. And I say, first, never mind. It's just not going to work. So yes, this show's just not for everybody, I guess. But the people it's for, is that what I was talking about? Like I went off so far off topic because just captured, I don't know if this is a term, captured my fancy, this whole idea of being seriously, but that does seem like that's why I started making the show. Because when I couldn't sleep, it was a serious issue, but everybody that was serious about it didn't understand it. I don't know, that's really like one of the keys to this podcast, right? Everybody takes it so seriously, but they don't necessarily know what it feels like. Yeah, there's people that are insomniacs that are working on this stuff, but the people that give out advice, especially when you're a kid, I'm speaking, I guess, when I was a kid, they'd be so serious about it. I say, no, you don't quite get it. And that's when they say, seriously, try to think of something nice. Why don't you not think at bedtime? So, yeah, okay, thanks for the advice. I'm going to move on. Seriously relax, or I'd listen to stuff as a kid and then moving into adulthood. And I don't know, it was in that serious or relaxed category, which is great for the people it's great for. But you could tell it just won't work on me. So I tried to find something that was different than that. And I was like, well, let me make it. So that's why I make the show. And, but it's not for everybody. So give it a few tries. If you're already like, seriously, I loathe you, check out sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Cause I'm cool with that. Most people don't like me. This podcast, the majority of people that check out this show, it just won't help, unfortunately. But I have a list of other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff on there because you still deserve a good night's sleep. Even if you don't like me, that's totally fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So, but just give it a few tries. That's just what most people said. This is also a podcast you don't really listen to. You just kind of barely listen to it, which I may have done some good examples of why I barely deserve your attention already. So it's, just kind of like I'm like background noise you could listen to or someone you could kind of pay attention to. I mean, a lot of times now, I think we've moved into this phase, which, for me, intentionally, if if I'm going to watch something, I have to put everything away, right? And that can be tough. I'm distracted. And so I'll be watching something. And so I either have to choose something that doesn't require a whole lot of my attention or pay attention. And I don't require a whole lot of your attention. I mean, you're probably going to bed, so you don't have to be doing all the other stuff. But it's like those other things. If it's like something I'm supposed to be engaged by, then I'm missing out on something. You're not going to miss out on anything. Don't worry. If you're barely paying attention to me, you could always. I'll repeat it at some point in another episode, and I'll think it's the first time I ever brought it up. So it's a podcast you just barely listen to, like out of focus picture, sand running through your hands. Or, like a TV on in the other room. This is also a sleep podcast. I don't know if it was the first sleep podcast for adults. I'm pretty sure it was, though. Bedtime, that whole thing. But it's not meant to put you to sleep. That's the funny thing. Yeah. More and more. And still people email, hey, I'm going to do exactly like what you're doing. This version of your show. And I say, okay, great. That's cool. But my show isn't meant to put you to sleep. It's meant to keep you company while you fall asleep. I'm here to be your borsib, your borbay, your neighbor, your borby, your borber, your boyfriend, your boars, your borman, your borloff. I don't know what else. Borby, I already said that, right? Your best boyfriend forever, borsib, borcas, borbestie. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. This show's over an hour, so you don't have to think about falling asleep. You could play episode after episode after episode if you need to. Because I'm going to be here to the very end, whether you're awake or asleep, because I'm here to keep you company no matter what. Because there's people listening who can't sleep at all or who need a break during the day. And that's just another thing I feel like works about this show is that I'm here to barely entertain you for an hour plus. Whether you're listening or not. But all this takes some getting used to. But that's the job I'm applying for. Your rambling friend. So those are, the structure of the show also throws people off really. But it's like a good, like, the way we structured the show is like the way that it helps most people fall asleep, and you can adjust it depending on how you listen to the show. But most people like listening to this ad-supported version of the show linearly. And so that's how we designed it. But the great thing about podcasts is you can kind of adjust it in your podcast app. But what that means is the show starts off with a greeting, which kind of benefits everybody, so you feel seen and welcomed in. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then usually I go on some sort of silly tangent. Then there's support, so that paying for the podcast is optional. But if you want something without ads, you could get that on Sleep With Me Plus. And you get the podcast in an ad-free full version and ad-free story-only version, which is the kind of next thing after the support is a long, meandering intro, which is meant to ease you into bedtime. And that intro goes on and on and on because it's like where I try to explain what the podcast is, but and instead of doing it in a very fast and efficient way, I do it in a long, meandering way. But I follow the same structure every episode, but my meanders are generally different because, I don't know, that way the show can offer you something familiar, but something different every time. Surprising. I don't know, because just in my experience, whatever keeps me awake at night, it just needs some variety. So yeah, that's the intro, and it goes on and on and on because most people, the show's not designed for you to fall asleep during the intro. It's cool if you do. It's a small percentage of people that do. And maybe I'll talk about if you fall asleep during the intro or if you listen all night, because those are interesting use cases. But for most people, the intro eases them into bedtime as part of their wind-down routine. So they're in bed getting comfortable, they're getting ready for bed, or they're doing a chill activity, even if it's almost nothing, to kind of have a break between the wake period of their evening and the falling asleep part. And that's just what's been shown to work and work for me personally, is having a wind down. So that's what the intro serves. Then there'll be support, and then there'll be our bedtime story. So the thing is, if you fall asleep during the intro, you're better off listening to maybe the story-only versions or ad-free version. Just because the show, it's not really like a way we could design it. I mean, I guess on Sleep With Me Plus, there's people that fall asleep to only intro episodes, but there's not like a way we could do that every episode, you know. And if you listen all night long to episode after episode after episode, you're definitely better off supporting the show because, again, it's just like the ad-supported version's not designed. It's just, it would be hard. It's not really designed to do that. Like, but that's great. I mean, and if the ad-supported version, if you listen all night long, the ad-supported version works for you, that's great. But sometimes I get emails from people. It's like, yeah, there's no way to design free ad-supported version for all-night listeners. That's perfect, you know. So, yeah. So, okay. So then, there's a bedtime story. All told will be here over an hour. I don't know. And I work really hard. I yearn and I strive. Other people work on the show, too. Put a lot of thought into stuff with this podcast because we really want to help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do this for you regularly twice a week. Thanks. All right, everybody. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Acorns. And, you know, I've heard the phrase, money can't buy you happiness, right? And I think that's true. But when I feel in control of my money, I tend to feel a lot better. And I feel like I have choices of how to spend my money. But it starts with me feeling that confidence and control. And tonight's episode is sponsored by Acorns. Acorns is a financial wellness app that helps you take control of your money with simple tools that make it easy to start saving and investing for your future. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your money goals. You don't have to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now, even if all you've got is spare change. You don't need to feel like financial wellness is impossible. Acorns gives you small, simple steps to get you and your money on track. Just like I was talking about, so small, simple steps that make me feel empowered and to make those changes that are going to bring me financial wellness, that are going to give me choices, that are going to give me peace of mind. That's why I love partnering with Acorns. Ready to take control of your money? Sign up now and join the over 13 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $22 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/sleep or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisers, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, welcome to another our episodically modular series, Big Farm in the Sky. Get Besos, Big Farm in the Sky, Get Besos PI. It's episodically modular series, which means you can listen to it in any order. I'm going to catch you up on almost everything you need to know. But this episode will also be pretty standalone. There is a touch of seriality, but should be episode 6. But you could listen to these episodes in any order. Just pretend episodes 1 through 5 were like prequels that came out after. Whenever you listen to them, you could listen to these in order. That's why I number them, but you don't need to. Or you listen to it for a second time in order, because the first time, ideally, you're barely paying attention to me. Even if I'm here and you're listening to me the whole time, I'm just here to keep you company, so you don't even really have to pay too much attention to me. So yeah, so this series is about it's about post-earthly realms. So just in case anything about post-earthly realms throws you off, it does take place in places like called limbo and double hockey sticks and stuff like that. But it's very sleepy anyway. In fact, I just listened to episode 5 this morning. And it was fairly incomprehensible. I knew, because I knew what everything was based on. And even when I was listening to it, I was like, whoa, this is very tough to follow. And this one follows the main characters, or the characters that are causing all the action are Richard Warren and James Cash, two friends who were in a post-earthly realm called the Beige World, a bit like Limbo or Purgatory. And they got bored there. They've had other adventures on Sleep With Me, but the beauty of our universe is that it's resilient, and the timelines are resilient. And so despite the fact, also there's fiction, like believe it or not, but despite the fact that they were up to a lot of stuff in their other adventures, the universe just, it's resilient. So it got back on track. And but in this adventure, they'd returned to the Beige World, which is pretty boring. And then Richard Warren got the idea, his main motivator is get Jif. That's Jif Besos, the kisses of Jif, as they may say in other worlds. So all three of these, like Richard Warren and James Cash, were titans of industry back when my parents' time, and even before that, retail empires. Then they left our realm, went to another realm, but they were watching this guy, Jif, totally fictional character, by the way. And he kind of he had in this fictional tale a retail empire that kind of caused the retail empires to go away. And so Richard Warren said, I think I'm going to go back to Earth and get that guy and have a talking to him. Just that's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Earth, I'm going to get him, and I'm going to talk to him and say, you ruined my retail, whatever. So that's why he's trying to get Besos. Now, he's not trying to get kisses, but that maybe would help him, but he's not a very kissable character. And so on this current adventure, though, he supposedly, this is before the story even started, he assigned Jiff, he said, okay, Jiff, let's go to, I know there's all these post-earthly realms that are not so great, a lot worse than the beige realm where there's nothing to do. And there's people in those realms, like someone that was spinning on a lighted wheel. I think his name's like IXION or something, through the sky. That's who they helped last time. Apparently in this realm, even fictional characters, can exist like that. So they went and found Javert from Les Mis. I think if you were saying which Javert, we'd see somewhere between the original Broadway cast Javert and Russell Crowe Javert. But essentially the essence of the Javert, I mean, now I'm even, that word has lost meaning. But getting him out of his post-earthly realm. I don't know who else they've helped, really, but they also hired a PI to help them, the Big Farm in the Sky PI, who was looking. So Jiff had a list that RW had come up with of people he wanted rescued from post-earthly realms. And this list was missing. So they said, why don't we hire a PI to see if they could figure out where Jiff is? So yeah, if this won't put you to sleep, it's going to be full of pointless meanders and superfluous tangents. So the Big Farm in the Sky PI is in this episode, and he's looking for someone, and he'll fill us in on all that. So yeah, he's going to look for somebody. Maybe he'll find them. Maybe he won't. That's all you need to know right now. Also, all you need to know is like our Hollywood announcer is here. And particularly right now when I'm recording this, we're thinking of you and everybody there. Trying to keep it sleepy, but also think about sending our lulls and our love to the greater Los Angeles area because you're in our hearts. Thank you, Scooter. Yes, the greater Los Angeles area is in my heart as well. Friends beyond the binary, so ladies and gentlemen, so boys and girls, it's time to get Besos Big Farm in the Sky PI. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Antonio. Thanks. Yeah, no, you probably need to rest and sit down. I know. All right, so this is Get Besos Big Farm in the Sky PI. Thanks, everybody. Okay, hey, Diane, it's May, and recording a message for you, Diane. You may hear it in my voice, but these are not, I like James, and I'm using all the tools in my toolbox, Diane, my interpersonal toolbox to I don't know, Diane. I'm trying to use the tools in my toolbox with this Richard Warren and say, okay, what is this? How is he a mirror to me? What am I supposed to be learning here? But it's not easy, Diane. So I guess I thought I'd put that on tape. Even a Big Farm in the Sky PI has bad days, Diane, and bad moods, and is not perfect. Thoughts of not being patient and kind and tolerant. So I have a new case. Okay, so I can't get any more help from G&DK because they are also now part of the case, or they have their hands full because of this Richard Warren and James. They dropped off someone they'd brought into the real Earth with G&DK. But I can't talk about that right now because I haven't talked to them. I can only say that's just another I said, you did what? And he said, anyway, we got to get back to the case. What do you think I hired you for? And he had me because technically he's my client. And I do have a code, Diane. You know it. And I guess I have to adhere to this code and help my client or clients. But he's my main client, Richard Warren. And I'll tell you, the word gumshoes come up a few times. So much so, Diane, that I thought I'd even look it up, but I didn't. Because I knew even if I looked it up and told Richard Warren, he would tell me I was incorrect. So that's why I said, don't even look it up. So now I know my temptation to look it up is futile, Diane. Okay, but thanks to G&DK, before this, we had made a breakthrough. We're trying to find out where Jif is. We're trying to get that list from Jif, I think, or get Jif and find Jif. And G&DK, did I tell you this already, Diane? I don't remember anymore. So this is confusing, right? Because Jif, we're not sure. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive Jif's a earthbound human like G&DK, but he's not earthbound. But he's an earth-based human, Diane, but not earthbound. Okay, so Jif has been going through different post-earthly worlds. We've been following him, and not limited to ones I even knew about, Diane, but ones other people know about and are invested in. And Jif's been doing some repurposing of different post-earthly realms. And I've been traveling through them and not exactly sure if it's a good or a bad thing because I'm always moving. But it's baffling, Diane. But at the same time, that's in the post-earthly realms. Now on Earth, Jif is a business person, and he runs some big business, Amazon. And Jif also has to name subsidiary companies or new companies he's starting. And I guess like they still sell URLs. Diane, do you believe that? Still on Earth, you got to buy a URL. And you got to make sure, you want to pick a name that's good, but not a name that's going to cost you too much money. And so Jif, and you got to register all the registration stuff. Paper trail, Diane, that's what I meant. There's a paper trail, even though it's not paper anymore. So Jif has been registering companies based on the realms he's visiting or is planning on visiting now. Or at least that's been G&DK's. So the last I spoke to them, they said, okay, we know where he's going to be coming up because, I don't know, there's different processes to it. And I wasn't paying too much attention. They just said, see, you are just there. Now there's a company named that. Now, if it's not available, I think Jif just uses a different, he's creative or the people he works with are creative. So that kind of gives us some idea where he's going to be. Or I have a list. All right, Diane, I guess that's what I'm saying. So I brought this to my client, Richard Warren and James. And I said, you want to, and he only wanted to talk, once he saw, then he looked at the list, he said, okay, I need you to go get some birdseed. And I said, birdseed? And he said, yeah, go get some birdseed. That's not what he sounds like, Diane, but I think that's the best I can do. And I said, is that, it's not a code word. It's not a rosebud. He was talking about birdseed, not a red herring, Diane, actual birdseed. He said, go get some birdseed. And I said, you want me to go get birdseed? Yeah, go get some birdseed. And like I said, Diane, this is not it. I said, can you tell me more? And they said, yeah, you're going to put birdseed in Jif's pocket. And I said, I'm going to put birdseed in. Yeah, what do you repeat? What is this, a repeating game? He said, get some birdseed. Then go meet Jif, put the birdseed in his pocket. Right here. He was pointing at the list we had. And I guess it was a little snarky, Diane. I don't know if he picked up on it, but I think he takes I said, okay, sure, I'll just go to the birdseed store. And he said, he goes, there's not a birdseed store. And I said, the pet store. I'll just walk down the street to the pet store. And he said, well, I would go to a farm store if I was getting birdseed. And I said, well, there's not a lot of farm stores around here that I know of, or birds that need birdseed either. And he said, you're going to need birdseed to put it in Jif's pocket. And And I said, well, like that. I said, well, and he said, I thought you were a private eye. Why don't you privately put your eyes on some birdseed so you have it to put in Jeff's pocket? And he said, well, okay. Do you, like, can you, he said, farm store. I said, okay. And they said, no. You're lucky I'm still here. And I said, how am I lucky? And he said, the bird guy. I forgot all about the bird guy. And, but okay, so let me back up again to re-explain everything, because come on, Diane. Okay, so we know where Jeff's going, or we're pretty sure where he's going, right? And it's all over the place as far as, like, it's a good thing G&DK figured this out, because it's like my ideas, I have a limited window of even the post-earthly realm based on only my own experience. And across existences and time, people have a lot of other windows of experience and belief systems and stuff like that, Diane. And so it's good because I wouldn't even have known to look in these places. I mean, eventually I could have researched it like we're doing. But one of these places, yes, Diane, is full of birds. Now, it's not the kind of birds that they're like big birds, not like Big Bird from Sesame Street, though. In fact, Diane, if you put Big Bird and Sesame Street in your mind, these birds are like, would not be anything like you'd say, okay, now I have the concept of what these birds are not other than big. And these birds are eternal birds. Now, like Big Bird, they have a purpose to help people, but this is a post-earthly, non-positive realm kind of help, if you get my drift, Diane. And this is like one of the realms they'd call purification realm. Now, it's not eternal, which is nice, but I don't even think, like, 1 minute there might be too long anyway. So it's like a very warm place. There's a game show now on Earth there's a lot of games, so floor is a lava, right? In this place, that would be the case. A lot of that. And then there's these birds flying around who are helping you go through some sort of process to cleanse yourself, but only by experience, not by bathing. And the birds fly around and they greet you. They work with you. I guess I think I got to the point, Diane. It's not a place you'd want to be, and you definitely wouldn't want birdseed in your pocket. But the birds are going to give you, I don't think RW realizes this, if you're supposed to be there, the birds are going to give you attention anyway. And he also didn't, I said, well, I don't know if I can put birdseed in somebody's pocket before they go into this bird realm. But I'm not at that point, so I don't have to cross that floor of LAVA, whatever, right now. Oh, and they're called I think, like he said, Garudian birds. I think that's the incorrect way to say it, Diane, but that's just what Richard, my client, is telling me that I have to call them. So I'm supposed to meet Jiff wait for Jiff at the entrance. Time passes differently, but there's pretty much a guarantee Jiff's going to be there, or I'll know if he had been there. So that was the plan until we got, that I could understand. Get birdseed, wait for Jiff, put the birdseed in his pocket, and then wait. He said, wait a second, what does this have to do with getting the list? But then Richard Warren said, oh, the bird guy, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm doing your gumshoe for you. You're lucky I'm here. And I said, what do you mean? He said, go to the bird guy. Get some bird seed. He'll get you some bird seed. And I said, the bird guy? Who's the bird guy? And he said, the famous bird guy. You don't know who the bird guy is? He moves around a lot, so he's a genius. Not stable, but he's a genius. And he's got wings. And I said, like Harvey Birdman, the attorney? He said, what? No. I don't even know what you're talking about. No. He's an inventor, not an attorney. And they said, okay, well, that's not Harvey Birdman. Hawk? No, that's not, he wasn't a hawk. Was there a hawk? He goes, no, he's not a hawk. He's a man. And they said, well, you said Birdman, so. And he said, he's an inventor who flew his kid into the sun. I said, and he said, yeah, he's going to need you. He's probably going to need you. He's going to give you birdseed because you're going to have to help him first. And I was like, and he said, yeah, oh, don't worry. He goes, I was just brushing up on my myths. That now that I think about it, this is really good. We're talking about, because he, when he was judged, one of the judges, it's a good thing you brought up the bird law or whatever, because for him, one of the judges was his old boss. And I said, wait a second, one of his judges was, are you talking about Harvey Birdman now? And I said, Diane, I think part of me knew he wasn't talking about Harvey Birdman, but I was like, I didn't know I didn't know how else to act. I guess I was being passively aggressive, but also he said, no. The guy flew sun into the sun. It's a famous thing. When he left Earth, his judge was his old boss, who they didn't part ways in a equitable basis. And they said, so his old boss was his judge for his post-earthly. Yeah, what a ripoff, he said. There's no way. That's just not okay. I mean, who lets someone be? He should be recused or whatever. Being a judge when it's your old boss. How's that going to be fair? So you got to go get the bird guy, then get the birdseed, then give it to Jeff. And then I realized the sun. And I said, you mean Daedalus? And he said, of course, he's gone. He's post-earthly. And I mean, his name. Oh, yeah, no, I know his name. Yes, that's his name. And I said, well, what if Jeff, he goes, don't worry, just go get him. He's actually really smart. He could probably come up with an invention of birdseed or birdseed place or something. And he's got wings, and it's just not fair. I don't know what he's doing, but you go find out what he's doing, get him out of there, and then go get, and I said, okay, I got to find Daedalus. Now, luckily, Diane, there's James, who, I mean, I don't know, my feelings for James are not exactly wonderful, but he does do a lot of listening now. He doesn't interact with me in RW as much anymore. I think he wants to take a break, or he keeps in touch with other people, but he does find out a lot. So he was like, don't worry. He came over, he said, he's a nice guy. But it is one of those friendship things. I said, what do you, he goes, don't worry. He goes, yeah, he goes, go help Daedalus. He goes, it does sound like it probably isn't a great situation, and he'll probably be useful. And he goes, you don't have to he goes, just talk to Jeff, don't worry, but he goes, as long as Richie thinks there's birdseed, it's fine. And he goes, I've been talking to this cloud-based, he goes, so I have a good idea of where Daedalus is. And I said, where? He goes, Labyrinth. It's not great, but he goes, you gave me directions. So luckily in this situation, we had some overlap. But I said, well, if he's in like the kind of this like whatever robe-wearing post-earthly realm with all these mythologies, these birds are not anywhere near that. He goes, come on, you're on boat. Come on, big farm in the sky PI, you know better. And he told me just to breathe. And he said, don't worry, when you help Daedalus, you'll feel a lot better. And and he probably needs a friend. He's probably only needed a friend the whole time. So now I'm like, Diane, I'm going to pause like 2 seconds, and then you'll probably hear my next recording. Okay, Diane, it's me. and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I've met Daedalus, and Daedalus is very driven, and I guess you'd call, like, I guess he comes, like, he fits in that box of a studious inventor. He's only focused, so he doesn't totally realize what's happening. Like, I guess, like, I didn't think about it, that in this sense, RW's right. So he only has a sense of, let me just walk through it, Dan, because it's not so great. So remember, he was involved with the Labyrinth. That was one of the things, like a giant maze, you know, like, I mean, a giant maze, Diane. I don't know if there is a difference, but this is a giant maze, but it's on multiple levels. And, good news, Diane, though, before, like, I had done some reading up, so I brought some line. I didn't bring yarn or string, but I brought, like, 100-pound line. It is, I got the one that's not translucent. It's, like, kind of a neon purple. So I have that, and I brought 2 spools, like, and they're from this realm. And, okay, Diane, ha, where did I get those? Yep. Post-earthly fishing, imaginary, like, you can still get earth stuff up here, Diane. It was just that I just didn't like how he was asking me to get birdseed, like, he was assuming. Okay, but this is a doozy, and again, I hate to say that Rich Warren's right, but, this does not seem like a very nice way to, spend your time, and this is one of these eternal realms, So basically, Daedalus is in charge of building this labyrinth. So that's like what he's like kind of like focused on, the sand and the Vaseline. And he honestly thinks if he can complete this thing, then he'll be fine. Now, not consistently, but it does rain feathers here. And it also, or snows like feathers. It also, there's like sometimes it's a specific dripping of wax, and sometimes it just rains wax. So we both are covered in feathers because, and then it also drips on his shoulders. So it does look like he has wings, and I have wings now. And when you have wings, when you like kind of look over your shoulder and you see a wing, because they're like, they look good, Diane. I mean, I guess I don't know, but he looks like a Birdman. And he doesn't see himself, so he calls me the Birdman. And he would get me mixed up, but there's other things happening. But so he's working on this labyrinth. I got to get this done. And I could get to my son. I could deal with he's got a lot of stuff he's got to deal with. And so but the thing is, like always, while he's working on it, he's working on one of the upper floors. Then he has to go visit unexpectedly to one of the lower floors. Then while he's doing that, he realizes he has wings on. And then he tries to use those wings. They don't work. And then since I've been there, then he says, okay, we got to work on these wings. So the next time this happens, so then he works on like a superstructure for these wax wings. And that doesn't, then he's like, okay, we got to get back to work on this labyrinth. Now, luckily, this must be post-earthly line because I don't think I'm going to be lost in here, but whatever, Diane. There's a lot of line that I've left behind me because I keep going up and down and whatever. But so then those wings don't work. So it's like he's constantly building. The wings don't work when we could use them. But we're post-earthly. Then kind of like what feels, so that's like probably the first half of a work day. Then he has a meeting with his client who's like calling from a cloud, like an all-powerful client. And he has to give a status report and also tell him what he needs. And then always the client's like, whoa, boy, you're never going to get finished by the time you're supposed to be done. And you better pick it up. And then, I call him Sisyphus, Diane, because But then Daedalus says, well, did you get my request for more materials and tools? And then the client always says, don't worry. Like, you go back to the, workshop. There's going to be brand new tools there waiting for you. Because I want to get you there. I want you to get done. Okay, then we go to the workshop, and then he starts the whole time. I mean, he really is smart, but probably not too smart for his own good, Diane. Then the whole time he's thinking, I got to get this is what we're going to do. And now we got these new tools, and the tools look really good. I think they may be from RW's store too, Diane, which is but then he starts to use the tools after he's planned everything, and the tools are misaligned. So he comes up with these perfect plans of how we're going to get the whole job done on time. I don't know, I guess he's probably like a contractor in another realm, Diane, but, and then, as soon as he goes to use the tools, nothing straight, and then he kind of says, well, we just got to get back to work anyway. We're going to have to do our best. Now, at some point, we start to make a little bit of progress, or he does, but now I'm helping him. And right when we start to make progress, then Talos, who's his nephew, starts appearing from a Casper realm. And he just kind of, the rest of the workday, points out all of the mistakes that Daedalus is making over and oh boy, Diane, it's it's not as bad as Richard Warren, but like that. And he also, because it's not earthly, he has ability to project into our minds. Oh, look, you missed that spot back there. I can't believe we're having to paint a lot of work to make a labyrinth, because this is a fancy rich people's labyrinth, right, Diane? Maybe I didn't explain that. Maybe I just thought you would know that. It's not like a hedge maze or a corn, it's I don't even think even on Earth, somebody wouldn't do this. No. That's not, that molding is not perfectly flush. Okay, that goes on all day, right? Then you start to hear stuff falling apart. So then Talos stops with that, whatever. So then we have another post-day meeting where, again, this guy who doesn't stop processing. Okay, what were our he wants to go over the wins. I say wins. And they say, I try to reason with him, but he's so focused on work, Diane. They say, he just got to listen to me for a few minutes. We're going to get out of here. I just got to figure out a plan. And he goes, great. We have the plan for tomorrow. Let's go over our wins. And he's he says persistence. We're persisting. But then at some point, his son, the son from the sun, Diane, at first, it's we're eating. So then it's another thing where it feels good. You say, okay, now there's a meal that's set out for us. And we're going to eat a meal and watch the sunset. And we're he's already had the post-work meeting. So it's we're just going to eat and go to bed and watch the sunset. Go to bed as soon as the sunset says. That's what he says. And, of course, then it's the whole thing with his son saying, Papa, look at me. Papa, look at me. No, oh, man, Diane. And then we go to sleep. But you can't, it's all night long. As soon as you close your eyes, oh, Papa, come on, the full moon, I'm flying. So that's what every day for Daedalus is like, Diane. But I've been talking to him while we've been doing this. I don't know how many days I've been here, Diane, either. You could probably tell. Because I didn't know as much about him. Not the greatest example for his son anyway. Or, anybody in anywhere. But I said, okay, he has a lot of people that owe him favors, Diane. And so my plan is I'll be back with my plan, Diane, because I think I got a decent plan. Okay, Diane, so I'm back again, and let me just tell you about the plan. Didn't quite go to plan. At first, I thought I'd get a hold of Poseidon, right? I said, like, because I followed my I said, well, I don't have to stay here. And I followed my string, my line back. And then I tried to track down. I tried to get a meeting with Poseidon. No dice. Because as far as I could tell, a lot of this was Poseidon's fault. Now Poseidon's, assistant said, why don't you talk why don't you go to the show? They're doing rehearsals. And I said, another show. Now, this was it was, so Minos, I don't know, that's the judge. That was his old boss. Poseidon had said, there's a guy, let's just say there's a guy named Bull, because there was on Night Court, right, Diane? Not Bull from Night Court, but we'll just say Bull from Night Court, just so we understand each other. So there was Minos, who was a king. Then there was Bull from Night Court. And then there was Minos' wife. We'll say her name was Penny. Now, something Minos did got Poseidon irritable. So Poseidon decided that Penny and Bull would fall in love with each other. Now, Minos, Daedalus worked for Minos, and his wife said, hey, you're a great inventor, you're a great craftsman. I need you to make a set of Night Court for me. And he said, why? Or maybe she laid out the situation, and he said, well, I think a set of Night Court will be good, because then Minos won't suspect anything, because you could just place Bull there the whole time. So he built a set of Night Court, but that set was not used for the production of Night Court. It was more used for them to hang out on the set of Night Court, if you catch my drift. Penny and Bull. I think Bull was in love. Was it Bull ever in love with Diane? Do you remember? Did you watch Night Court? You don't know? Okay, but so now they have a show where they do, it's weird, Diane, but it's cool. They use a set from Night Court and the characters from Night Court to stage other plays. And they also do other stuff, but it's an interesting idea. So I said, hey, Penny, hey, Bull, how you doing? Hey, remember you two, ended up breaking up with Minos. You two got together, and it was because of this guy, so he could use your help. Remember the guy that built the set? You seem to keep using this set of a Night Court. Or are you willing to help him out now? Because actually Minos was his judge, and it didn't work out so hard. And they said, well, we heard. And I said, well, are you willing to help him or not? I'm just here asking questions. And they said, sure. And I said, okay, great. I'll get back to you. Okay. So that was one group of people. Then, let's see, how do I describe this next thing? So then, Penny and Minos had a child, right? But also there's a lot of children involved in this, Diane. They decided, how do I describe this? So Penny and Minos decided that their daughter, Ariane, I think is her name. We'll just say that, Diane, Ariane, I can't say it, Diana. It just makes me embarrassed. Ariana. So they decided they didn't want Ariana watching any TV, right? So they hid the only TV in the house deep in the labyrinth where no one could watch it, right? And this was back when, TV wasn't even a thing there. But the equivalent of TV, right, Diane? These demigod existences are out there. Okay, so then she would sneak into the labyrinth, right, to watch these shows. Now, meanwhile, there was another place where they would send their kids there. Because Mino said, anybody that's kids watch too much TV in under my kingdom, send them to me, and we'll put them in a maze that's real. This maze is impenetrable. And if they want to try to find a TV, they can. They never will. So Theseus was one of these kids, the great hero. And Ariana and Theseus fell in love. And then they were trying to find the TV together. But then I said that I'm kidding myself. But then this is where Daedalus was like, he does, but despite his bad choices, he empathizes like he did it. I'll make a set of night court. If you're in love, you can be in love on the set of night court. Then he said, if you want to go watch TV together, but not be lost in this maze, I'll give you balls of string that lead to the TV and lead back. That way, if you're in love, these two kids are in love, they can watch TV together and get back and not spend all their time walking around the maze. So I got a hold of Theseus and Ariana. It ends up they're not together anymore, but that's fine. And I said, are you willing to help? This guy helped you. And they said, sure. And they said, but what about the kid that was always watching TV? Tor. And I said, I forgot about Tor. And they said, yeah, that was why the Tor would never give up control of the channels. And I said, I forgot all about that. That's why you wouldn't want to be in the maze, not just because it was a maze, because even if you got to the TV, Tar was waiting for you. And you wouldn't be able to watch any shows. I said, oh, okay. All right. Well, you think Tar would be able to help us too? And they said, Tor. And I said, Tor. And they said, yeah. Tor's so okay. Okay, so basically, Diane, here's what we did. And then I said, we got to get Icarus here and Talos. So I said, okay, well, Talos, I'm going to have Ariana. You go greet Talos. When you see Talos, take Talos aside. You seem pretty grounded. Talk to him. Give him some nurturing. Take him on a walk, long walk. But, take him under your wing and see what you could do. And then we'll get that. And they said, okay. Then I said, Theseus, you're a hero. I need you to wait till those broken tools appear. Put some real tools down. And Theseus said, and I said, trust me, just do it, please. And then I said, Tor, well, I want you to take your TV. I said, figure that part out. You're going to get a TV and you're going to wait. I don't know where this kid Icarus flies off from now in this realm, but you're going to invite Icarus to watch TV with you, and don't let him leave. He's going to want to leave, obviously, because you don't share the TV. But you don't let him leave. I said, okay. Then I realized, Dan, the weight of the feathers and the wax was what was making the whole levels go down. And, even in a post-earthly realm, this bull, he's pretty tall. So I said, hey, you walk around, lean over, and you block the feathers and the wax from landing here. He's like giant. So he said, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then I said, Penny, what I need you to do is, go back to Minos. I know, you two must communicate, right? He's got to have, some sort of, ethereal, mystical blueprints for this place that constantly reset. I said, you got the blueprints still for the night court? Oh, yeah, I still do. Okay, switch the blueprints, right? And she said, oh, yeah, there's probably some sort of blue. Yeah, she goes, I know how to do that. I said, so that way tomorrow when we wake up, all we'll have to do is build a set of night court, and we won't have to worry about the wax and all that. So we got to work on this thing, but while we were working on the set of night court, right, No, we didn't have Talos interrupt us. We had good tools after our midday break. And we actually had a good night of rest because I guess Icarus and whatever Tor were watching TV. But I said, listen, the only thing I'm thinking about here while we were working, I said, you ever think about apologizing to Minos? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, he said, it's not really an apology. I said, it's making things right. And he said, why would I make things right with him? He's the one that put me in this. And I said, well, looks like we're going to finish this set today, right? And pretty good possibility that, what if you just write it like into the set of Night Court, an apology, but not just an apology, like think about it from his perspective. And he said, what do you mean? I said, what if you could focus, it seems like you got a lot of attention. What if you could focus a little bit of your attention the rest of the workday on what it was like for him? Now, I'm not saying this is a world without right and wrong. I'm talking about just from his perspective. He kind of maybe trusted you, and then you, like just from his perspective, right? He said, oh, you want me to imagine I'm Minos? Yeah, and then from his perspective, look at your perspective and see if there's a way you could take your part and that you could have, if you were a different person and you had different, if it was, if you knowing what you know now, or let's just say none of this happened, right? And you and Icarus were watching TV and watching the sunset tonight after work, which I could pretty much guarantee will happen. Or what if it did happen? And Talos was probably like, maybe he's even on a date or something. Now, we won't have control over the TV, but if that was like we're watching the sunset at least, and then we could probably get out of here, maybe find some fake birdseed. Like, how would you choose then to think about everything with Minos? And Daedalus said, well, I guess I would look at my part and say, I guess I'm sorry. I wish I didn't behave that way. Not just because of the consequences, but seeing things from your perspective. And is there anything I could do to make it right? Well, I said, well, that sounds like you could just leave a forwarding. Maybe just sign it, send any messages to Richard Warren. Okay. All right, let's, so Diane, I kind of got in a groove there. I forgot where I was. But that's what happened, Diane. And then we made it to the sunset. And it was quite the moment. Like Daedalus didn't have to fly, or Icarus didn't have to fly around anymore. Because he said, I was flying around just wondering, why didn't you listen? Why didn't you know? But, now then Acorns was just there, and they, like the sunset was way better than the TV, Diane. But because we were looking in the direction of TV, Tor thought we were, still felt powerful because, Tor thought we were trying to watch TV and that they had control over the TV. And the sun set and the father and son were reunited. And then we went to the set of Night Court, not the set we just built, but the other one, and watched a play. And Minos was there. And Minos said, hey, Daedalus, I got your note. And then there was way more apologies because everybody was there, Diane. And it ended up being a really nice moment that everybody just kind of realized after. I mean, it's been thousands of years or something, I guess. But they realized they were all but then everybody, what about Poseidon? And I said, well, let's look at how we do, if we have feelings about Poseidon, we could talk about that another. We got really tired, I guess, Dan. We had a sleepover on the set of Night Court. And it was pretty nice. I'm just recording this here, so I don't know what's next I am, but I'm here with Daedalus's crew, I guess. Good night. Everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. I'm going to tuck you in with my Helix message here, because that's where I tuck myself in every single night. Now, ideally, my sweet, sweet Helix just feet behind me, listening. Sometimes I got to be away from you, but when I'm gone, I miss you. What do I miss about you? I feel like you're really there to meet my needs when I'm sleeping, so I can have the support I need, the comfort I need. It was like a perfect match. I felt like it was I just took this little quiz, I answered a couple questions, and suddenly, in my life, I had you. My Dusk Lux, you fit my feel preferences. You know I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. You know I like to sleep cool. I don't like it stuffy. And you showed up, apparently you were shipped straight to my door free of charge. And that's where we began our journey together so many years ago. And the cool thing is you're my Helix, right? But there's a lot of people listening. I don't know if you know this, but there's other people listening to our conversation right now. I mean, how many episodes have you heard me record? 1,200 episodes. But not everybody sleeps like I do. They have different feel preferences. They may like a firmer mattress, a softer mattress. They may sleep on their back. They may just sleep on their stomach. They might want to choose a mattress with their partner. And I'm so glad to know all they need to do is go to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the quiz there. And they'll be able to pick a mattress that works for them. What a great thing. People used to have to go to stores and have people watch them, then either figure out delivery or people traipsing around. You have somebody trying to talk you into a mattress instead of just taking a quiz and saying, this is what I like, what's going to fit my needs. And they have options to choose from, right? I picked the Helix Dusk Lux, but now there's the Helix Dusk and the Helix Elite as well. So if you're listening to this conversation right now between me, for my mattress, but for you too, I want you to get the best night's sleep you can. And I know your mattress is a big part of that. So go ahead and take that quiz. It's helixsleep.com/sleep. And right now, go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody.